hopping back into the action here on the LCO. We got Kanga, we got Team Bliss, and we've got a whole bunch of fun lined up for you guys. You guys now have more things to do, like vote in polls. Tell us who the Dare MVP is going to be, and that's it. Good luck. I hope you enjoy that, because that's the only bone we're throwing you. Kanga, Rue bones are probably pretty big. Do you think they're going to get skinned today, Rusty?
I'll tell you, they got cooked last week.
Oh.
We only got to see one game from Kanga last week. It was a pretty tragic start against Pensinet.gg. I think it was a level 1 all-in from Memory Bot that went completely awry, and then suddenly the game felt over. But I still have high hopes for this team. One thing for Kanga is the average age is so incredibly young. You know, they're all around 17, 18 years old, except for their mid laner in Fido. And they went straight in against the top dog. Day one. Really hard matchup, and so I would really like to see this week's iteration of Kanga start more solid, you know, start more in control, more calm, because now, look, it didn't help that they got absolutely annihilated last week, but this is not the same caliber of opponent with the same fear that comes with it.
Well, speaking of fear, I'm scared of Why Not, and he's on Bliss, so let's have a look at who else is there. His team's also scared of him, maybe dying in the first minute again, but who knows? It's uphill from that first game, isn't it, Skimmy?
It really should be. I mean, I think Bliss have a lot to be proud of. Ultimately, they showed a lot of really strong early game signs. Mid game was a little bit shaky, and a few members had moments where they would be thinking, okay, week one nerves, we dust those off. But really, from what I've seen of Daystar on the solo queue ladder, the guy's been playing unethical amounts of games. He's been spamming solo queue. How does he do it? There's only so many hours in the day. I really want to see him pop off. I want to see him live up to the critics. I want to see him live up to everything that's been said about him. So I've got my eyes firmly fixated on the mid lane. But I think, yeah, this team as a whole, you just look at Limus and Benvi as a combo. They're willing to play weird and wacky stuff. They're willing to experiment. Obviously, you've got Liv that will play anything to facilitate there for the team. And somebody like Why Not? Got a point to prove, right? Always the sub. Oh, I guess you can almost say, like, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. This is his chance.
And I want to bring it back to Daystar, because his first game in the LCO, he was on the Akali into a pretty bad matchup, but with this Lissandra game kind of redeeming his name, he ended up doing, I believe, most damage and was a part of was very important in all of these team fights. So I just think Daystar has so much potential. He wasn't showing it in week 1, but he's just going to keep evolving until his final form, and I'm excited to see that.
Well, I'm excited to see Daystar do more than what he did in the last week, right? Because it felt like he wasn't given the opportunities even on that second day. You know, we've got to see him on list, but I feel like that didn't sort of scream what I'm hearing about him, what his play style kind of is. So hopefully Team Bliss can sort of pick for him. It's
an interesting dynamic with Bliss, because I think he wants to be like, he can be very aggressive, he can be very kill oriented, he can be a high mechanical player, but if you want to take it slow, sometimes you have to remember that your jungler is Why Not, and that guy, and when I say that, I mean he's ADHD as hell. Like sometimes he's just gonna see a shiny thing and go. Like it's uncontrollable, and so I don't know if Daystar was prepared for that much ADHD coming out here and there. But you know, those things can be either worked through or worked with time, and that is something that is on Bliss's side. It's second week.
It is the second week, and it's the second game for one of these teams. That, of course, is Kanga. We got Mayfan to have a quick chat to as well. Mayfan, how's the new team? Oh, how you doing?
Hi.
Hey.
Oh,
hey.
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I'm bonding with my team.
Beautiful.
Aww.
That's what we love hearing. Now, is Fido, does he get your jokes? That's what I want to know, because obviously you got a different sense of humor at different age
He's
levels.
a bit old.
He's a bit old?
He's a bit old.
Ah, beautiful.
So Fido's just a bit old, huh? Well, don't let Rusty, Skimmy, or Mac hear any of that. It's just between you and me. But of course, we are coming back from week 1 where you guys only got to play one game. I know that early game went a bit disastrous for you guys, but you were playing up against Shernfi. What did you take from that?
So I think Shernfi's movements were like really good. It's something that like it was like definitely eye-opening, and it's something that like after the game I like watched, and then like I like compared the way he was moving around the map versus what I was doing, and I was being pretty inefficient. I don't know, I just ran into river and killed myself. But yeah, I should. It's good to study from him.
Yeah, it's great to learn from, you know, the mistakes, as well as people that you can actively vouch for as being better because they are veterans of the game. So look, it's great you're learning. Has Fido helped you so far in all the scrims you've been doing? Of course, you know, that mid-jungle matchup, that's something we talk about a lot of the time. Do you find it easy to play around someone like Fido with those years and years and years and years and years of experience?
Oh yeah, definitely. He always gives me a bunch of like feedback after my games. He's always like, "Why didn't you come gank mid here?" And I'm just like, "I'm sorry, I wanted my camps." But yeah, he suggests good ideas.
Great to know that there's some positive feedback going around the Kanga camp, and best of luck up against Team Bliss, because we're very excited to see how this one turns out for you guys.
Thank you.
I really want to be a Kanga fanboy again. So I really hope things start going right for them. But at the moment, why not's explosiveness still has my heart, I think. We'll see, of course, you know, get into the game. We'll see who's going to be playing on what side, of course. You know, well, flip that coin. Damn. Bliss, they go on red side. Rusty, tell me why.
Because they like the color red more than anything else. It's closer to pink.
Closer to blood.
Awesome.
Which is what they're hunting
Facts.
for.
Heavy.
Oh, of course.
No, I mean, I feel like Daystar can be a last pick. The issue is with Bliss, their first week, they gave him a counter, and then he didn't pick something that was a counter, right? He picked something that went like pretty
That was
even.
counted.
Yeah, like he picked the Lissandra fifths, and so I'm just wondering, like, red side is valuable for one of those reasons, right? Like, I don't think there's any... It's 50-50 really on side select. It's a matter of preference, and what they get from it is the ability to have Daystar go for a counter.
And the ability to have fun, which is what you guys have when you vote in the Dare fan vote, and let us know how you think this game's going to go. Look, Kanga, their spirits are high. They learnt a thing or two after last week's game. And look, Bliss, they're still kind of ironing out all the creases at the moment. Let's have a look at what we think is going to happen here in the second game of week 2. Ooh, how good's that? I'm only one win behind you guys now after that dialogue. I've gone with Bliss. We've all gone with
you're
Bliss.
even with us.
No one's gone for Kanga. I thought maybe someone would give him a benefit of the doubt. What do you feel like is the percentage base here for the wins for both sides?
50-50, to be honest.
50-50.
I think that
For me.
percentage changes once we're 5 minutes into the game.
Once we're 1 minute into the
Yeah,
game, who
like,
dies first?
Why is that?
What Kanga shows up is the biggest, like, is Kanga going to show up and still be like hyper nervous, right? They're just going to like not show up in the way that we expect or want them to. Because if they start slow, Bliss start fast. They have proven that they're very good early.
That's true. Are we going to get some more aggression coming through from Why Not? Is that a definite?
I would say so. I mean, I think they're just an explosive team by nature. Like, they're going to be playing in an aggressive bot lane to try and get ahead, to fuel the idea that Why Not can say, we're unlocking the map, we're doing a dragon, we're going for a herald, we're getting plates. So I think in terms of when you say, like, is it 50-50, I think it's hard to say because we don't really know how good Kanga are, given that they went up against PGG and they're kind of like, welcome to the LCO kind of thing. Yeah, I would say that Bliss should be the favorites, but I guess what you're saying, right, 5-10 minutes into the game.
Bliss
you
are
can get a better
also
understanding.
0-2. Anything's possible.
And it
Maybe
also
we're not-
boils down to what's going to be happening in the draft, which is ready, by the way. Champ Select, we're jumping straight on in.
Let's jump in, Mac. Come over here, mate. Come cast of us
Yeah,
over here. Yeah,
I
come
don't
on,
know
mate.
if the headset reaches.
Yeah, come on, mate. Pop your head in.
What's
Yeah,
alright?
come on, then, mate.
Do you want to cast? You can
Oh, I've been mogged. I've been absolutely had. Been done.
Alright, I can't see the TV. Caitlin?
Yes.
What do you think is going to get picked next?
What
You-
next?
Okay.
Ash.
What next, Kitty?
Did that come through? Did you wait for that?
Did I just get Donna Wood?
See.
What next? Oh, okay.
So, now Mac's gone, and I can see the bands on the screen in front of me. And you know, there's 2 screens I've never looked up. There's a bigger issue there.
That is a bigger issue, yeah.
I keep saying I can't see, but I can. I just need to angle my head
2
up.
monitors.
Caitlin gets locked in again for Kanga. Similar to what we saw from game number 1. This is a big point, however. The Elise wasn't banned, is going to be locked in. Azir was banned from Kanga. Now, Fido is a prolific Azir player,
Isn't he?
so I'm not shocked that that's gone. And even if Kanga hold mid, the 4-5 bans can still be some wacky champions, right, that belong to specifically just Fido. Cassiopeia obviously is another one of
Tristana
those.
mid.
Tristana,
Let's go,
things
go on
like
then.
that come to mind. But first and foremost, let's get through the first 3 here. Kanga, is it going to be a Karma mid? Is it going to be a Karma bottom? We'll probably find out, but I would expect the jungler in response to that Elise to be seen now.
So talk to me a little bit about the Elise. What sort of sings its merit right now? Is it just the fact that you need some AP damage when you've got things like Maokai and Zac running amok?
I think in general, Elise has been, like, AP items have been buffed, right? So most of the junglers that we're seeing are running around rushing things like the Demonic Embrace. Elise benefits a lot from that as a champion in general. Elise also opens up coherence with a lot of top lane champions that we're seeing. Jax has stun set up, Cassante has stun set up, and Elise prospers in that situation. Elise Renekton is a staple, right? It's the kind of matchup that gives you nightmares as a top laner.
Goodbye,
And
Nidalee.
it doesn't matter what you pick, you just have nightmares.
Yeah.
Because it is the double stun combo, it's the dive combo. Elise has the ability to reset turret aggro, so don't be too shocked if we see that start to happen, regardless of what Blue picks, and we also know him to be a carry player. So if he's a Fiora player, oh, good luck.
Absolutely.
Good luck.
You are not having fun when they've got literally pure early game advantages in the first 3 from Bliss. They did actually go for the Tristana ban, so we're saying that in jest, but they've actually locked it in. One single mind is just to shut down Fighto's ability to impact this game.
And there's the cast, right?
There
So
it is.
we've called it, but I mean, it works because a Maokai has been picked. So you look in a Maokai AP jungler, you'd expect some kind of AD to be seen. So I'm wondering if it is, you know, Yasuo Yone tech that we
I was
might
just
get.
going to say, we saw the Yone from him last year, but we were never... I mean, obviously Fighto's phenomenal, but we were never putting it to the same standards as these champions that have been banned away, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to ban the Yone themselves anyway. A couple of assassins taken away from Daystar specifically. I don't think he would be mad at the idea of just going for a Syndra or something himself, Daystar. Plenty of options still exist for him. Even the Varus ban can be away from him. You know, like, he has played 67 champions in his 210 games of solo queue since the season reset.
It blew you away,
Just
hey.
think about how much time that is. It's less than a month so far. And again, the Ezreal to be locked in by Bliss. Ezreal Ashe now going to be the bot lane duo. Double global composition, right? Global pressure. Pretty hard to kill except for that Ashe. The Ezreal going to be very slippery. But it's not like Kanga are going all in on hard engage. It feels like we're just going to have two forces that meet at mid-range.
Well, it does feel that way, doesn't it? Just like a battle of the poke. Who can sort of live the longest, weather the storm, if you will, and decide that objective, that turret, that play really is ours. They're going to go for the Seraph. We really are playing Poke Wars.
Boy, Jace Xerath as our 4-5. A Caitlyn locked in. That to me means, well, Fido can play it. I wonder if that's something that he will consider, depending on what they lock in for Daystar. But the Karma is the most likely mid pick, right? And it will just be a Caitlyn Xerath down in bottom lane.
Sure.
And that is an Aurelia. That is an Aurelia straight in the face of Kanga. I don't think Lived is an Aurelia player. As much as I would like to say that could go top, I feel like it's just going to be Renekton Elise top and Aurelia mid. And it doesn't matter what his matchup is. He says if it's a Xerath, that Xerath is dying.
I was just going to say, this is laying down the gauntlet that I want to showcase my flair, my ability, and the reason I came all the way down under to show off my skills. This is an exciting matchup because I'm personally really enjoying the fact that we are getting these very early skirmish-orientated matchups. And, you know, a bit of a breath of fresh air coming into this week at least with a lot of new champions being unbenched.
I love Elise in competitive League. I'm a massive fan of Elise in general for the way that she plays League of Legends. So I'm very excited to get into the game and just kind of pay attention to where Why Not chooses to go. But right now, early expectations, right? It's a ranged versus melee matchup in both solo lanes, and it is a heavy push bot lane 2v2. So a lot of this comes down to how laners are playing relative to their jungler. And if the mistakes are being made by ranged champions when their jungler's not nearby, those bruises murder them. And it is not close. It's maybe even a barrier Xerath just to run away at full speed and survive so that you can get back to your range advantage.
Almost feels like the Lux treatment. You miss your stun or your binding and you're thinking, I'm in trouble, right? Like the old Simpsons meme. Well,
you know what? It's just kind of occurred to me as well, Daystar's got this kind of double magic mid-jungle where you can consider things like Merc Tread's Rush, Wit's End even, potentially as an item of choice.
Sure.
Blue on this Jace is pivotal for the success, and if it's Elise Renekton on the dive top, I mean, he may do no damage. We will see.
We have seen Jace's fall behind, but as long as that tier is stacked, the poker's coming out, and the damage will start to add up. Let's see how this one does play out as we jump into the fold of things. Kanga with their second showing here in the LCO for a brand new year. Hoping to get a win officially on the board to match that of Team Bliss, who will be hunting for the same outcome. An explosive bot lane, we're anticipating much the same, I guess, of the game we just saw prior.
Bit of deja vu here with the early sweeper by Daystar, going to recall back towards the trinket. So again, looking for some early experience advantages in mid lane, shared with just Limas. Not going to do much for bot lane. Taking that ward out and as two people in the 2v2 shouldn't do anything for them in reality. Let's quickly check in with a couple of things that are important before we get into the actual thick of it in laning. Number one, observers want to show us that he's got the blue boy for some extra movement speed out of bushes. That's awesome. Love that for him. Benvy's got Hail of Blades with Ghost. This is very fight heavy. I personally think Ghost is one of the best in slot choices for the support Ashe, because you're able to get 3 auto attacks off immediately, and then you have the ability to press Q and just chase them down relentlessly. And it's a lane-based decision. You know, you can go Comet, you can go Poke, but this does so much more damage earlier if you're actually able to auto attack. I like that. I actually think that Ghost or Heal are probably the two best choices, and Limas has gone for Heal himself, so I like that. See how they choose to play this out, and like you can tell already, relentless with their range advantage. Shinky can hit some mantra Qs, you know, to try and equalize the playing field, but they're able to control this lane really nicely, really early. The other thing that we have to point out as well is Blue, standard for top lane, of course, is going to be going for the teleport. Cleanseless against Elise Renekton means target starts on his head by default. Fido's gone for the cleanse to make sure that he can get away. So again, I think all signs lead towards playing towards top, so this is where we look at Mayfun. How's he pathing? He is pathing towards top, but the first of many looks, perhaps, as Wynot will just clear this one. And that wave is pushing away from Blue's tower, just quietly, already.
Does beg the question now, what does he do to try and assist Mayfun here? It's a flash, it's a pounce, there's an engage angle. He wants first blood, why not possess? He leaps across the wall just out of range, agonizingly close there.
Okay, but if Mayfun has to base, Wynot can get that blue buff, and just think about how Blue has to play this one out. He's got to be so afraid. This game gets so dicey so quickly, and here comes the Jace. He's going to sacrifice a bit of top lane control to make sure that blue buff is secured. And then meanwhile... And
I like that, because Daystar's keeping Fighto preoccupied underneath the start, so he doesn't want to sacrifice as an Aurelia that's built, or rather a Xerath which is built to try and combat.
Timing. Oh, he's just spotted him. That was half a second away from actually getting into the bush potentially without even being spotted. Was looking even perhaps towards his top lane. Blue probably screaming for assistance. And a lot of this game's going to revolve around the camera showing top lane. It's important, you know, and so far he hasn't died, so that's a success. But that's not to say that Wynot won't come back.
Oh, it has to. Right, the Elise Renekton is built to do one thing, and that is layer CC and be incredibly oppressive to contend with. Those lane mechanics, understandings, no doubt about it, are going to be of the utmost importance, because you're looking bot lane right now, and absolutely it's going to be the Ezreal Ashe show showcasing that, yep, you're a Caitlyn and the Karma, which can definitely poke and harass too, but you're not going to be able to match us.
And not at level 1 with the way that they played this out, right? Limas pressed the attack, Benvig on Hail of Blades. They've just hard traded with their opponents. That's resulted in such a sizable advantage as potions and health is concerned, that Hooper is now down 10 CS with 0 potions remaining. So that lane has been doomed until the next reset comes across.
Yeah.
Until that point, that means that Limas and Benvig get to freely play, free reign, hyper-aggressive. Mayfun is actually a top laner, if anyone was wondering.
He seems to be, doesn't he? He's going to sneak his way into top lane.
You know what this is? This is both Blue and Mayfun. Remember, young rookie players coming into the league, or very young new players. Hang on.
Oh, hang on a minute, indeed. Arcane shift across the wall, looking for the kill. Summoner heal goes out from Shinky there, protecting what is a consumableless bot lane.
Oh.
Certainly feeling the pressure, and it's not done just yet. They've got a plate to achieve and a first blood to try and find here at 5 minutes.
They pinged the ward, so what I'm guessing is that Wynot walked into the bush and was exactly where that ward is of his own, as mid fighting as well. This is at every point, it's just tiptoeing, it's teetering on a knife's edge. Mayfun resets, comes down, finds an Elise again. There's just spiders jump scaring him everywhere. Summoner's Rift Australia style.
Really is, isn't it? Really says, just get out of my swamp. Just let me fall clear. Let me hit level 6 in peace.
And it's funny because there's been no kills at the end of the day, right? But the sheer just terror, the fear that has been put into the laners of Kanga as a result of this is so noticeable. They're all just crying to Mayfun for assistance. Please help me.
Spam pinging, please gank my lane. Yeah, no doubt there is a flurry of anxiety surging around between all these laners. And Mayfan, without a doubt, has his work cut out for him as to where do I go? What do I do? Even I'm getting stressed about this.
It's the babysitter. It's actually crazy how much work he has to put into lanes, not to the jungle. Means he's just not farming. Why not rent free? He's starting to clear some camps out himself that's going to be unmatched by Mayfan. Top wave. Lived is at level 6. There's a full HP Jace, but he's just used his gate. And if Lived ult flash W's,
Mayfan isn't going to be here just yet. There is the flash and power. They go for the kill. They find it. They've got the aggro on Liv. Why not even get a scratch on him? It does came first blood for Team Bliss.
What do you do? What do? You just die. Mayfan's helping mid. he's got other problems right now. Forget about one. Another one just comes across and is a bigger issue. And it goes into the pockets of Wynut, which is valuable, as he is the sole magic damage on this team. Can go towards a flat magic penetration build if he would like. Just be super impactful for his DPS. Kicks off on the right foot. It is funny. It's like watching a completely different game mode. You know, it's a jump scare horror game. Psychological horror game for Kanga.
I think it's a good way to put it, right? Because there are no doubt some minor tweaks that you had to make to your gameplay as to you would usually go for that minion or you would play for that bit of harass, but you're constantly anticipating where could they be, because they have, as you say, been living rent-free in Mayfan's side of the jungle, constantly saying, I'm here. What are you going to do about it?
Exactly. There's no exhaust, there's no ignite for the bot lane. They've gone for cleanse. There's no teleport for mid. He's gone for cleanse. We've got 3 mid, however. Daystar.
Okay, there's a blade surge. There's a 2-man stun. We're hopping, skipping, and jumping. The ult, the knockback, and the denial of a montage play. Cut the music. It's not going on YouTube.
I mean, he gave it a go, but you can't really stop the inevitable that is a Maokai pressing W. So finds him. Why not just going to clear through mid? Fancy feet there. He's going to make sure that doesn't get hit by the Xerath Cube. Top going to lose some plates as well. Blue, still very nice roam. I think full credit to him. He's going to lose some pressure in top, yes, but if he's afraid, if they don't know where Wynut is at that time and he gets a roam like that off, you take that. That's something for the team. They need positivity and momentum, somewhere to build on.
For sure.
And if that is going to be a Xerath who gets those kills, fantastic.
So you do need a surge of confidence to build around and rally upon it, because Blue is great as his work was. It doesn't get much easier for him in a 1v1. No. Wynut just pops his head into top lane from the exact same position, even if there is a ward there.
It's just impossible to play. It truly is impossible to play. Soul Shoes Rust by Wynut maximizes his DPS. You cannot dodge the cocoon. I mean, I feel like the funny thing is, and I was going to mention this as well as a Caitlyn ultimate comes out bottom, is the choice of Phase Rush is quite nice for running away if they mess up the execution. But how do you mess up the execution as a Renekton that presses W and point and clicks, right? So maybe there's worlds that you even consider something even, I'm just spitballing in this case, but like Unsealed Spellbook with a cleanse, right? Or like not going for the teleport because you have no choice. You know, just thoughts that ruminate. Because you can't have Mayfan helping you forever. If they're red side, they have a counter pick in mid lane, they have pressure in bot lane. Because if Mayfan helps top, you just lose mid and bottom.
Let's just run it back to when these runes all got changed. Just bust up the Jace with first strike. Just hit him with a bit of damage and say, hey, 50 gold.
I wouldn't have picked Jace personally.
There's a little bit of gold to try and offset the tax I've lost.
The real answer is picking Jace is bad. League of Legends 101 for you as well, Skimmy, when I'm drafting with my team originally, was if they pick things that can kill me top lane, I usually don't pick Jace. Nocturne, Elise, very high on that list that make playing Jace impossible. And that's usually one of those situations where you just hold the Elders gracefully as you can, lock in a tank, pick Scion and say, just dive me, I don't care. I'm just going to clear the wave in undead form. It's a win for me.
Oh, beautiful mover there from Mayfan. Got the fancy feet. Not going to get hit there by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Answers back with the roots of his own.
Yeah, does well to survive. The current situation, they're not fights that Kanga want to take willingly by any means. It was a nice little movement, however, on Benvi to get up there, but it is matched by Shinky. Thank you for the self-commentary, Hooper.
Just does it all for himself, doesn't he? Daystar right underneath his nose, Blade Surge again. Being ever so annoying to try and land a skill shot against, but does do so successfully. Here we go. Flashing into action is Why Not looking to try and land a cocoon. Does not find it. Forced to disengage away as he goes into the sky.
Okay. Gets the cleanse out though, so keep your eyes peeled on the right of your screen with Benvi's arrow cooldown. Because he gets the cleanse, may not have been the flash, Why Not and Benvi are working together. That feels inevitable. They get that harass down. They could threaten to kill at any moment as the sapling has just owned him.
Yeah, empowered by the bush, always a bit of a annoyance to try and deal with. There's a lot of pressure really swelling around this half of the map, looking to try and open up what should be the very first dragon of the game. Not willing to overextend themselves just yet, our Team Bliss, who are in the position to try and go for it first. They will instead summon that Herald. As a result of all the good work put towards top lane to try and make Blues life a little bit of a living hell. Arrow does go out, there is the root.
Idea's cute. Why not? Be a little bit careful here.
Here we go, Mayfarm pulls the trigger, finds the shot then, that's what he needs. You're at 3 now, I've finally taken down the demon. Out goes the artillery barrage, he needs to hit one more, but he's not got any more charges left. And Daystar is holding on by the skin of his teeth, but finally falls down by the zap. Benvi forced to flash away. And having summoned the Herald, it's now Kanga answering back with a plate of their own.
Yeah, very nicely done by Kanga. There was a world where Limas perhaps gets aggressive there, but chooses just to ult to clear the wave. And he's just going to thin out those minions. A bit too far from Team Bliss, to say the least. You watch this again. Benvi chucks a Hail Mary, perhaps looking for Mayfun, who dodges it very nicely. Doesn't matter that there's no cleanse for the Xerath. Why Not presses E, questions his existence for 2 seconds until he lands and just finds himself with a twisted advance on his face. And Daystar dodges all of the abilities very well, but his team's gone. There's no way out for him, and unfortunately Benvi is the support of the team. A couple of really important points there is that Blue's really quick. He's at the right place, he's waiting at the turrets. They were prepared for that dive and the Herald summon to happen. They answer very appropriately and keep themselves in this game and bring it back from 3K to 1.
Certainly a great way to stabilize in a situation where you are very much terrified of the amount of CC and the necessity of a summoner cleanse. We saw how important it was in the game prior, right? Those Ash arrows on cooldown, complemented by any kind of CC elsewhere to be found. And it became a bit of a nightmare to try and gain any kind of traction when playing the map out. Ultimately though, Team Bliss will respawn, redeploy, and go straight towards this dragon. And remove the Hex Check Drake from the equation.
Yeah, and so Kanga didn't get to convert those kills ultimately into anything, so that's a pretty important point here. Ash Arrow finds its mark.
Cleanse is on cooldown, so he is definitely just dead for right. Out go the roots. Mayfarm keeps rolling, but only to walk right back into his own jungle there. And once again, it just highlights just the importance of that option. Maybe a really good game for Shinky to rush the mid like a Crucible if he had the opportunity.
Certainly wouldn't be a bad choice. Double cleanses there, so it'd be just about saving the rest of the team. So I wouldn't mind that at all. As Daystar going to have a crack in mid lane. Mayfun's going to have some reinforcements. That does mean that top's going to take some damage, but also the jungle is starting to suffer here. As the game ebbs and flows, you can see as the pressure builds towards bottom, they have no answer. This whole game has been kind of call and response. Kanga calls for Mayfun's help. And then Bliss responds by cross-mapping. As the turret's gone. And 2 lanes on the opposite side of the map at the same time.
You can't ask for much more than that. How do you triage that as a jungler? We're going to try and force a numbers mismatch. It's just not possible. And the amount of strength is in all the right places so far for Team Bliss. You've got a Renekton hyper-accelerated over his opposition. Nice little dodge out there by Fido, who has been playing pretty well, to be all things considered, on the Xerath, landing the skill shots when they need to.
Ash Arrow.
But just needs to dodge out these ones. The cleanse comes off cooldown, instantly used again. The stun laid down, and the tether just prevents Daystar doing much more than that. But I tell you what it doesn't do is Why Not just absolutely obliterating him.
And they just keep hitting, and they will just keep hitting. Cleanser's gone now. No flash available for a while. Mayfun finds himself caught a little bit here. He's going to ult.
Once again, going for the ult. Out goes the cannon ult once again. There is the artillery barrage. A very low and fragile Fido from really melee range, shooting off his lasers. Managed to get the kill. He'll find that 1v1 into his counterpart, but it is Liv that groups up with the team for the very first time to lay down his first kill too.
And it does feel like at all moments Bliss have a little bit more control over the state of this game, right? The game is more in their hands. This mid tower, stone's throw away. A stiff breeze in the form of an Ezreal auto attack takes it down. And Kanga are trying to get some cross-map trades, but an Ash Arrow is going to keep Blue in check. And that continues to happen. Ash, one of the strongest picks for that reason. We'll see this one more time. Remember, it is a Radiant Virtue Maokai. This is not a full AP Maokai. Perhaps there's kill threat instantly under Why Not if it was a Demonic Embrace, but nevertheless, Mayfun gets it done with the support of Fido, who walks into melee range. And that's what we were talking about before, right, in Champ Select, the ability to just go Merc Trades and be so dangerous on this Irelia. It does mean he sustains through a lot of the damage on especially a skill shot-based character like Azereth. Miss one of them, that feels really bad for you.
No doubt the Merc trades into the Blade of the Rune King. That's all you need to be an absolute skirmishing weapon in these early stages. And you can see why it's allowing Team Bliss to continue. Upon respawn, keep pressing forward. Mayfun said, I'll take the L. Shinky run away and get surrounded by every different angle you can imagine.
Oh, just missing there on the Q from Zareth. Ultimate comes through. Why not? That's one. That's two. Caitlyn ult. Help him! No way. He can't believe he lived. Look at Shinky.
The disengage.
Mantra Q in his face, and it's done. Shinky just press it. Oh, he doesn't know he's there.
Shinky, please.
Oh, the comet gets him.
The vision toggling. That's beautiful.
Why Not's a day out.
Oh, that's actually beautiful.
Angry Bee sums it up very nicely.
The observers are smurfing.
I guarantee Why Not in team comms are saying, why is he there? For what reason is Shinky still there?
I love that. Speaking of, he did actually go back to base and do what I would love to have seen. Rushes the Mikhail's Blessing, which is cool. So I think it just gives you that extra level of insurance, right? More so than anything, right? You're going to be a world away before you can even look at an idea like a QSS, even if you want it, quite honestly. Should hopefully open up a few more plays, especially when some of the cleanses down.
Yeah, and Jace is not building a QSS with the way that his game has been going, right? He's rushing damage items. So is the rest of the team of Kanga, and they have layering stuns, so it is still valuable to have that Mikhail's at all times, even if a cleanse is up and available. The game will, at this point though, start to shift a bit stronger into the hands of Bliss, it feels like, unless they make a mistake. Ball's in their court, right? It's Bliss to serve. Drakes have been pretty steadily controlled by them. What I've noticed from Kanga so far is that if they have a decent player, they get kills. It tends to be reactive. It doesn't tend to be set up for something. They're not getting, kills at a fight for a Drake.
Sure.
They're getting kills at mid lane because Bliss are diving. Right?
Let's respond to the play.
Yeah, they're constantly second to or responding to things, which means getting those objectives after is really difficult. It's kind of indicative of the way the draft has forced that to happen. And the play. Okay, now Kyle. Radiant Virtue is going to heal up Shinky, though.
We are just trading ults at this point here, and Benvi really is just copying everything.
We're starting to get a glimpse of what can happen, right? That's a Zareth Caitlyn combo we've seen twice. Chuck a Jace in there. Suddenly they're dangerous. But that's why they need to keep close in terms of gold. If they fall behind, their poke becomes a little bit less meaningful. Daystar behind enemy lines.
He really wants the gauntlet here. He wants the 1v5. That's a late TP coming in here to try and back him up, but he's taking it.
Oh, he's missed.
He's waiting for the ult. The Vanguard's Edge does miss, as you say. That means he's in a whole world of trouble. He is dead. Liv TP's in and says, why am I here? For what purpose did I achieve?
Great question.
But the turret went down, and that's all that matters. The Herald was summoned, the 1v5 ego check was delivered, and a second goes down in mid lane. So if you're talking about Team Bliss from macro pressure, it's 5-0.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, Daystar tries to make a montage, and Liv just says, I'm in. And the montage failed before it started. He uses the Irelia ult and misses everybody. Stun hit one person before he was even looking to make the play.
I would love to hear the comms. I would love to hear the comms. Yes, my king, I come, I protect.
Yeah.
You going in?
Or it was, what are you doing? I don't know. It could go that way. Either way, again, Bliss in control. They're the ones at objectives. They're the ones at turrets. They're the ones breaking structures. Kanga doing everything in their power to hold on. They're up in kills, but they're down 5,000 gold because it is 5-0 in structures. It is 2-0 in Drakes. They didn't get a Herald.
But it seemingly is the magical number at this stage, right? It's just seeming to go their way. It's all about sustaining it.
Daystar with the funniest debut to the LCO so far for someone that we hype so much. We came into week 1, we're like, this guy? Cracked.
Everybody I spoke to, yourself included, was like, this guy, Faker 2.0. Faker down under.
Big chilling 0-4, carried by team.
Hey, watch this. The scariest Kim Tekakali.
Mega lived on a very wide flank here. Ashara gets cleansed by Fido. Daystar as well, 2 flanks.
Yeah, it's a big
But they have no
flank.
front line. There's no flank if there's no front line.
It's a Dominus. He doesn't have a flash, but he's going to get flashed upon. There is the Tevit. There's a second to follow. In jumps Mayfun. They want the isolated kill. Everything going to go on top of his head, and Liv once again realizes, why am I here? What is my purpose in life?
Why not actually gets hit by a sapling and is at danger of being poked to death here?
Great, disengage. Rocket Belt to disengage, or to run away after the fact, I should say. But once again, it just feels like it's Team Bliss looking to try and lay it down a moment, and Kanga just grouping up and saying they're going to make a mistake. We just have to keep answering back.
And at this point, Kanga have a decent comp on capitalizing on mistakes, right? They have so much damage that can be put up front to the person who's out of position, and then they have such good poke and range to catch the rest of the team. Daystar, once again, he's playing solo queue.
Well, here we go. In goes to Vanguard's Edge. He's looking for the kill. He's run out of minions to blaze switch away to, but he's flashing top of your head. Beautiful Ash Arrow. That may have just salvaged what would have been a fantastic 1v2. Oh, it's a great double kill. And finally, the montage music starts to play.
I mean, we'll call it a 1v2 kill. He gets 2 on the board now, no longer 0, 4, and 5. Is 2, 4, 5, and will split push to victory. The big thing that I wanted to say about Bliss as well, and it's still true, even after that, he just outplays them, is they are messy.
Yeah.
They're not making decisions that are cohesive as a team. The ideas are good. So if I was to summarize it so far, their ideas have been solid. The foundation behind why they're doing stuff makes sense in my head. But their execution has been not even up to par with top 3 teams. They're being beaten by Kanga in execution because they're messing up so bad every time they start something. You know, Lived and Daystar looking for a flank. Maokai pressed ult. The rest of the team's like, well, guess you're screwed. You have a great time flanking.
I'm going to head out.
Yeah, watch this again. I mean, quite simply, Aurelia presses all the buttons. This is with the stun missing. But here come the global reinforcements of the bottom lane. Ezreal misses, but that's because the Ash Arrow hits. Nice little 1v2 with an assist.
fallen down without that Ash ult.
Yeah, I think so.
It was, yeah, a little bit how you going.
I think so. I think don't play towards the Jace lane. I think bring the Jace to the Caitlyn Xerath side of the map and try harassing. Bliss don't have sustain, really. You hit a couple of those and suddenly Benvi can't play anymore and he sits a screen away just to throw Ash arrows.
What is the point, I suppose, you're looking at, right, is if you do hit so much poke, if you do just fall into a lullaby like a mid lane 5v5 A-Ran, then how does a Renekton, Irelia, any of these champions want to function? They can't flank, they can't stand here and just cop this damage all day.
Now watch Daystar here.
They have to jump in. They find the ult once again. In they go for the moment. Blue deleted, removed from the equation. Second kill comes as easy as you like. One answer back on the board here for Kanga. Flashing away to safety, but not out of grasp of Liv's Renekton. He wants it. He needs it. And, well, they are really delaying the inevitable. That is the ace.
And I mean, we talk about Bliss, we talk about their setup and execution. It doesn't matter when Limas is just this fed. 304 doesn't actually speak too much towards the amount of work that he puts in, but that Ezreal ultimate hits them all, makes them all 30% HP, and suddenly it's just a free team fight to execute, and they execute it very successfully. Inhibitor to fall here most likely. It shouldn't be too much beyond that early enough in the game. Death time is low enough, but nicely done by Bliss. Kanga still very much struggling to find their feet in this league. 2 games? 2 games, yeah. 3 games for other teams, 2 games for Kanga.
It is a bit of a head spin when you see the graphic.
Yes, it is.
What a perfect fight, really, if you think about it, in terms of picking up the Baron, winning the fight, getting the ace, going for the inhibitor, and now peeling away for a soul point. It really is, once again, the nuisance of an Ashe.
Yeah, nuisance of an Ashe. You see the fight starts with an Ezreal ultimate, comes through the True Shot Barrage, put Hooper at half HP. Can't play the game, can't be a carry if he's one hit from everyone that's staring him down. And a bunch of diving, heavy melee bruises running at you. And this fight was over before it started, quite simply. Very easy for Bliss.
Now becomes as to how does this game close out, given the playstyle from Kanga has been to absorb the pressure, to weather the storm, to be very defensively orientated, and Yeah, that is a bit of damage. Why Not has certainly made Fido reconsider things.
Why Not gives him the paddle.
Told him to go back inside your base. Contemplate how you want to defend this second inhibitor, which is now being threatened in the bot lane.
Contemplate how your team does it, because you're dead for 20-odd seconds. Look at Lived as well, flanking through mid, has the ability to threaten a dive here if they would like. And Kanga have to respect Liv so much they're going to leave the turret area, reliant on those Caitlyn traps to keep them zoned. But now 2 members strong come through mid. Someone's got to deal with them.
Oh, Mayfarm pulls the trigger. Giving them a little bit of space to preserve these traps, but delay at least one more minion wave coming on through. That means Fido's back. It's a full 5v5 defense. So Barrage goes on up. Envy is dead unless he gets body blocked, which he does so successfully.
Level 16 Xerath, perhaps that is a kill. Love the combo of a Caitlyn and a Xerath because it forces you to move in multiple directions. If you're able to think about the mind of someone being Caitlyn ulted, you have to run towards your team. Xerath now gets a straight shot at hitting those ults because it's a more predictable path. So far, Bliss have navigated dodging that pretty easily.
Oh,
Fido.
Oh, Fido.
You might want to go back to base and think about it real quick. Is this where I should be? No. Lived is merciful.
I was just going to say, Lived, that may have been the most graceful
Ah.
the Renekton has been.
Envy is not merciful. From down.
He wants more assists.
I mean, Ashar is already halfway back. It's so obnoxious.
Speaking of cleanses, QS has actually been picked up here third, rather fourth from Limes. Knowing how strong he is, having a perfect game, right? He wants to make sure that he continues to be as nimble as he can as an Ezreal.
I mean, it's an interesting QSS. Your QSS Maokai, you have to probably instantly E away, otherwise you'll get Bramble smashed. Karma's got a W.
Begs the question as to what his position would be to warrant it, but regardless, that's another conversation for when it may occur in-game.
Still good harass from Kanga, and this is, again, you're seeing signs of life. You're seeing signs of what they could have been if this was an even playing field, but they're 10,000 gold down 28 minutes in. So Team Bliss are able to weather that storm. Hunting for their first actual win since they've joined the LCO. Oof. And looking the goods for it so far.
Certainly are. They laid down in the pain. They certainly had a comp built to do just that in the early game. They've navigated that one flawlessly. 2 kills easily achieved in the top side, making Blue's life a bit of a living nightmare as the Jace. And really allowing Daystar to do whatever he wants. He's been a split-pushing demon and found a few moments to pop off mechanically.
And I do think that having the QSS there on Ezreal makes it so the Maokai ult's not going to be enough to stop them from engaging. You can actually tank that for your Ashe, tank that for the team. Ashe has Ghost.
Sure.
And Limas is now playing 1v9 in front. Is going to cleanse instead of QSSing. Huge from him. Just heal while stunned. And, you talk about a player.
Why do we talk?
Why do we talk?
I talked about Raze. We talked about Limes. I mean, AD carry is cursed. What's the point anymore? AD carry is so weak. How can he not 1v5?
We just spent time giving him reasons why it could work.
It doesn't matter.
Dies.
It doesn't matter anymore.
I think he might have healed thinking it was cleanse because he bought a QSS or something,
The Tooth one special.
Tell you what, Bliss have made this look like the world's hardest win. It's truly been an effort.
They're putting on a show. Given that we've only got 3, not 4 games, they want us to have another
Kanga
banger.
has 1 turret and they're lucky they have it. It's like it's been so one-sided, but at all times, there's just this little voice in the back of your head saying,
What if?
like, maybe they can. There's no way.
We win these. I've seen this.
Daystar is going to split push until the Nexus explodes. Kanga are going to send Blue back to him. He's got the teleport there. But I don't think that Jace wants to 1v1 him.
No.
We will see. It is a magic resistant stacked Daystar, like said in Champ Select. Would send very purchasable for him in this game. But I still suspect he'll be fine against the Jace if it comes to it. Okay, old big flank.
Certainly is a big flank as Hooper's forced to flash across the wall. Why not going to go golden for the meantime? Limus jumps in very aggressively without any summoners. Doesn't seem to care. QSS is there, but he will still push on forward. Not finding the kills just yet. Finally, they do answer back with 2 kills for themselves to even out this team fight, make it go their way with that whopping 10k lead they have. True
Kanga.
shot barrage to try and keep tabs as to where
Kanga
Shinky
about to
and Co
lose the
is.
game, Skimmy.
But Liv is saying, you're not allowed to go back to base. Your base is going to fall on down to the supers, to Shinky, to really Daystar just playing his own solo player game. He's doing it all right now. Limis decides to group up with him and try and cripple a few of these other towers. Fighter against the world, saying,
Fighter
what can I
can't stop
do to
him.
clear this? I can't. It's either you or the minions themselves. He's forced to flash back inside the base. The fountain laser, that's not even enough. And for Team Bliss, they fought tooth and nail. But finally, 31 minutes in, the derby is theirs.
I mean, the inevitable occurs. Bliss will get themselves the win, but congratulations to them for their first actual win here of the LCO, a team that has some players that are coming back from last year's LCO that looked solid, that were able to make playoffs.
Oh no, why not?
I don't even want to do commentary over that. Thank you, though. Why not? Sick. Love that for you, King. Do you want to...
What a performance, huh?
Forgot what I was going to say.
What a performance.
God, head
Right.
empty. Just Fortnite dances now.
Bliss up, is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, look, we had a lot of fun watching that game. It looked like Bliss was winning, and then it looked like Bliss was losing, but they were winning in terms of gold by a lot. And then it looked like they were still losing, having a bit of too much fun, and look, fun got the W done. That's what it really ended up being in the end. Look, shout-outs for Why Not, the happy feet all throughout the game. So many dodges, so many nice little
How
plays.
did Shinky end up there? That's my
It was a
question.
blast cone earlier that Mayfun used to try and get him out to safety.
He's living in Wynot's walls, but unfortunately this death does occur, but I do want to give credit to Wynot playing the early game extremely well on this Elise. I love seeing Elise's actually being proactive in the early game, which is exactly what happened at camping the top side with Blue starting the game 0-2, which was a big hit for such a carry champion. And of course, the entire game, we did see that Team Bliss was ahead in terms of the macro game. They had so many towers taken, but they were losing in the kill department until this 2v1 happened from the side of Daystar, and he was able to pick up 2 kills and come back into the game. I believe this even resulted in a Baron and 3rd Dragon secured for the side of Team Bliss. So this was definitely a very MVP moment for Daystar, definitely stepping up from the previous week. And of course, this, with the amount of pure force you have on Team Bliss's comp, with the Ashe, with the Irelia, and of course the Renekton having his flash available, it's very hard to be Kanga because you don't have too much disengage, especially when you have a Xerath that is so immobile when you want to be ideally playing for the pokes in these team fights.
Yeah, a lot of crazy things going down.
Twice as
Not
nice.
funny, not funny.
Also,
I did not laugh.
low-key shout
I
out
did
to
not
Liv,
laugh. I did not
man
laugh.
stopping backs towards the end to allow the game to end. So that was nice little bit of micro, nice little bit of teamwork coming through. But look, Rusty, you pretty much hit the nail on the head saying during the broadcast that the ideas that Bliss are bringing into the game are perfect. It's just the execution is like at a 30%. So headroom, like the ability for them in the future is huge, but right now they're still just working out the cogs.
Yep, and something else I want to highlight is that Team Bliss came into the game banning 4 of Fido's champions, so limiting a lot of the mid lane pool here, where I believe he just kind of ended up on the Xerath, and this Xerath pick, definitely very niche champion. We don't see it at all in the entire world. It is a very pocket pick for Fido, but he did end up doing most damage. However, you want to be scaling to the late game with those items. With the Elise, on the other hand, he was being so active in the early game, it's just they never got to that state in the game.
We also have a pink set for the first time,
Pink!
and that is to celebrate the Bliss win, of course. And we have one of those winners here to have a chat to. Lived, mate, how have you been? It's been a year.
You know,
it's been ages.
It has. It's been a long time, but you know, good off season. Bit of a break, but good to be back.
Great to have you back. Now, quickly, Kitty, sorry. Just want to show you the studio. Look how pretty it is. Pretty in pink. How's Bliss treating you? Are you enjoying the new org? Are you enjoying being part of the team at the moment?
Oh, it's great. Absolutely beautiful. Also, I love the logo. Very beautiful logo. Little heart at the
Cute.
bottom. Look at the heart. Very nice logo. I actually love this team. Love the art style. It's great.
We all love you too, and haven't spoken to you since last year, so we should catch up. So, congratulations on your first win with Team Bliss. How were you guys happy with how the early game went, especially with the Elise pick coming into this match?
Yeah, I think the early game went as planned. I think mid game kind of dropped off a bit though, so might need to pick up on that slack a little bit.
What's it like when you see Why Not, just going a little bit crazy, doing Why Not things? You see him doing the happy feet, the mechanics maxing. Is he screaming about how good he is as it happens, and then Shinky just bops him over the top with the karma? Oh, that was
Yeah,
nuts.
you pretty much explained it. It's a little bit worrisome sometimes when you're playing with him. You don't know what he's gonna do next, even when you're on his team. So it's a bit scary.
Well, expect the unexpected, and even sometimes your teammates don't know what is going on. But of course, I do want to highlight that Daystar on this Irelia pick. So tell me more about this, because like we keep highlighting on the couch, he plays so many different champions, and he has the most games we've seen so far in the Oceanic solo queue. So yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, he's on the grind at the moment. He is just like non-stop, just to wake up, league, sleep. He's just pretty sure he plays League in his dreams. He does not eat. He just plays League. He doesn't have time. He doesn't have breaks at all.
Do you like photos?
I mean, I don't mind photos.
You don't mind them? Well, guess what, Lived? We have this camera to take a photo, and you get to be the first official. Where's the button that?
Is it this one?
It's on. It's this one. No, to take the photo. I got it. Okay. All right, we're sorted.
Yeah.
Ready? Give us your best pose, Kitty. You pose. It's doing its thing. I think it worked. Either way, that is, we're going to take a bunch of these throughout the split. Congrats on being the first one, Lived. Secret surprises. Enjoy that. Enjoy the win, and we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you very much. See you later.
Beautiful. Always great to chat with Lived. Always so happy, and I thought that was definitely worth the first photo. Of course, it's come
processing.
out. And look, processing. As this processes, so has the Dare MVP, thanks to you guys at home. So let's see who the Dare MVP is for game number 2 of the day. It was Why Not coming through 6, 5, and 6. He had a pretty high KP throughout the early stages of the game. It dropped off towards the end, but he still looked 70%. That's pretty damn good.
He was valuable. It is the most valuable. So I'm happy to give it to Why Not for that one. I feel like between him and Benvi as well, they were a large part of like setting up for fights and through a lot of the early jungle path. Why Not got some pretty solid leads for his team, so definitely was a large part of that one. But at the same time, while we can hype up Bliss, we can talk about all the good things that Bliss did in this game. Kanga also drafted themselves into this absolute insurmountable pit of a draft gap, picking what they did into the Elise Renekton, and they were made to pay for it, and he had to just really do his job.
Look,
Aww.
it's almost developed. You can almost see it. It's about halfway there. It's got a little bit to go. Of course, it's gonna look good. It's gonna be a great first photo. Hey, sorry. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? We got a zoom cam now.
Oh.
Yes.
We got a cool cam that can zoom in on everything, including Rusty's knees. If we want to do that at any point, we can go back to that as we move towards playoffs.
Needs to be going away after today. My wardrobe, I'll finally have my wardrobe back.
Okay, well,
This is like, just work with what I've got.
I came back from
come
the
and
start,
investigate
so
those
far.
knees in just a moment, because we have a third game to get to. And of course, we need to go to a break before that third game, which is going to be the final game of the day. And it's PGG up against Mammoth. We'll see you just after the break.
Comes through, Why Not? That's one. That's two. Caitlyn ult. Help him! No way. He can't believe he lived. Look at Shinky.
Get disengaged.
Metric Q in his face, and it's
Shinky.
done. Shinky just pressed it. Oh, he doesn't know he's there.
Shinky, please.
The comment gets him.
The vision toggling. That's beautiful.